Hi there. I'm Jim, and from a Fatigue of Your Own, and welcome to another Motivational Monday. Let's get motivated. Woohoo! Now, as you can probably tell, I am here by myself today. Michelle is not with me. She is out on assignment. Ooh, yeah, she's busy with something else at the moment. So it's just me. Glad you're here. Glad you could join me. Today, I'm going to talk about books. And the reason I'm going to talk about books is because I've got a new one that it's not actually a new book. It's been out for quite a while, but it's new to me that I'm very excited about. And the reason I get excited about books, I think, probably all of us should be excited about books, is because they contain a wealth of knowledge. And every once in a while, you come across a book that just really, at least for me, just really speaks to me, that there's a message or something contained in it that I need at that moment. I think that's one of the things that happens in our lives is when we need something like that, it shows up for most people. But the key is you've got to recognize that it's something that you need and make sure that you take whatever the lessons are from the book to help move you to where you're wanting to go. And that's happened to me several times in my life where I've come across a book that's just really changed my thinking, opened my eyes, gave me a new perspective, or just moved me sometimes incrementally along my path. And so some of those I've talked about in the past. One that really changed my life was maybe one of the first books of the type of the I guess you would say, I don't want to say self-help, but personal development that really came across for me was this one, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. And this was a book. It's interesting. We learn so much stuff in school and in college. By the time I found this book, I had already gotten a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And a lot of the stuff that I learned in this book, I'd never seen it when I was in college. Nobody ever presented some of these concepts. Or at least if they did, I don't remember them. But I don't recall that they were actually taught in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They really should be. Because what I really learned from this book was that if I was going to accomplish things, if I was going to get anywhere in life, I really had to be the one to do it. And, again, maybe that was part of the message that was there in college, but I don't remember anybody talking about this directly. I don't know. I've been teaching college for 25 years, and I know I talk about things like this in my classes, but I don't know that students hear it in other places. And so when I found this book, it really turned my life around because I was at an extremely low point. And as weird as it sounds, you would think that I would have known this to start with. But what I learned from Zig was that if I was going to, get where I wanted to go, I was the one who's going to have to get there. I couldn't wait for other people to get me there or lead me there. It wasn't going to happen. The doors weren't going to open unless I went out and found those doors and actually went through them myself. Seems like common sense, but it's amazing how many people don't know these things. I know quite often when I ask my students, first day of class, it's always eye-opening, asking them what they want to do when they grow up. And so many of them go, I don't know. And it's like, okay, you really need this. Problem is I can point them in the direction of things like this and it doesn't really seem to impact them a whole lot. The next book that I came across that really had an impact on my life and on me was this one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I know we've talked about this one before. This is a seminal book in the self-development field. And it's one that I think everybody should read. Problem is, I know what happens is people see the rich part, they think and grow rich, and they think only of money. And the point is, riches can come in many, many forms. It doesn't just have to be money. And you can learn and develop the mindset for getting to that point where you can get all of the things in life that you may want. Okay. Something else that I also got from see you at the top, because one of my favorite quotes of all time from Zig Ziglar, and from anybody, from Zig Ziglar, is you can have everything in life that you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. And what he's talking about there is serving others. Same thing here. Think and Grow Rich. The idea is you use the, as one of our mentors, Paul Martinelli, talks about, all of the stuff here that is not physical things. Everything's in between. It's the thinking stuff. And this is where the ideas come from for everything. Create things. And then you can have those things to serve people. So that was the second book that I think was really a cornerstone development book for me. Another one, and actually he's got multiple books, but this is probably his most famous work. And it's John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. John likes numbers. He's got the 15, was it 17 laws of teamwork? 15 laws, I forget. There's so many. But the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, this was another one because that was important in my development. Because the other two talked about, again, thinking, ideas, serving others. This one really spoke to the idea of leadership. And I think I'm like a lot of other people, especially, again, having been a part of academia for so many years, we teach management. It's like in our program, we have in our division, business division, we have 5 major areas: information systems, marketing, management, accounting, and finance. And we do have one class that's taught on leadership, ethics and leadership. One class for leadership and for ethics combined. It's amazing. And I think a lot of business programs are like that. And you get a degree in management. It's now evolving where there are schools that are offering degrees in leadership. A lot of them, you'll see a lot of graduate programs on leadership, I guess, with the mentality that first you have to learn to be a manager, then you can learn to be a leader. Could be something to that. But learning how to lead, that's where you can really add a lot of value to people. So those are 3 that really helped in my development, but I've come across a new one. And there's been others, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That's one that I have a copy of that on CD. I listen to it in my car over and over and over again because there's so many important lessons in there. And it's so rich in points of development and growth that it seems like every time that I hear it, and it's not long, it's a very short book, I pick up something new every time. And I think it's because my brain is in a different place every time. Another one is Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, which is another one. You see that word rich, turns some people off. But again, it's the ideas of with that book, that if you act in a certain way, if you perform in a certain way, that you will, be able to grow your value, which will help you grow your wealth. But like I said, I've got a new book. It's an old book, but I had never read it before. I'd heard about it, and it really came to my attention back in I want to say August, September. I think it was in September, actually, when I saw an interview, and it was Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins interviewing Matthew McConaughey, the actor. And he talked about one day being over at a friend's house when he was in college and was looking for something to read. And he found this book in their stack of stuff. And he read it, and it completely changed the direction of his life. Because prior to reading this book, he was on a track he was pre-law. He was going to be a lawyer. I know he's played a lawyer in the movies, but hard to imagine somebody with the kind of talent that he has being a lawyer. Oh, not that there's anything wrong with being a lawyer. I just can't imagine him being a lawyer. And he decided that he wanted to pursue his real passion, and that was acting. And he tells the story of having to confront his father about this and tell him, Dad, I've changed my mind. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to go into the theater arts. And he thought that his father was just going to flip out and lose his mind, because a lot of parents would. And instead, his father told him something to the effect of, great, just don't mess it up. And the book, and Michelle got me a copy of this because she knew I wanted to read it. And like I said, I've heard about this before. And it's a short, quick and easy read. As a matter of fact, I read the entire thing over Thanksgiving when we were driving over to Philadelphia. I'd read first maybe 15 or 20 pages before we got in the car, and had finished it up well before we got there. It's a short read, but there's so much in here, and it's written in a way that's very easy to read, and it's very easy to get the points. But the points are so powerful. And the book is The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Now, this is another one where as soon as people see this title, they're suddenly going, oh, I don't want to read that. I have no interest in sales. Couple of things. Number one, whether you realize it or not, we're all in sales. Every time that you're going out there presenting yourself to the world, you're essentially selling yourself to the world. If you have your own business, you're busy selling your business all the time. Even if you work for somebody else, think about the job interview process. You are selling yourself on that potential a potential employer. Okay? We're all in sales. We sell every day, whether we realize it or not. And so don't let the salesman part throw you off, because the ideas apply universally. It's got an interesting story, and it's about a young man who decides that he wants to be a salesman, a successful salesman, like the guy that he works for. He's, I think, a camel tender or something like that at the beginning of the story. And he's working for this guy who is just a massively successful salesman. And he says, I want to do that. And so the salesman takes him under his wing and gives him a task to see if he's worthy and ready for it. And I'm not going to give away the story, but he determines that, yes, this is the guy. And so he hands to him eventually these 10 scrolls. Now, this story is set, many, 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 many years ago, pre-modern man. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you specifically when, because it would give away part of the story. You need to read it yourself. But the 10 scrolls, okay, and it kind of gives you an idea of the time frame for the story. And in those scrolls, they contain the secrets to becoming not just a successful salesperson, which is what he's trying to do, but successful in general. And what's interesting is Matthew McConaughey stated that it was in particular scroll number 3 that really influenced him. And what's neat about these, the first scroll, the first of the 10, it tells you what you should do with the 9 other scrolls. And again, it's in a book here, so there's not really a scroll that you have to read. It's in a chapter. Okay. But you get the instructions from scroll number 1 of what you should do with the other 9 scrolls. And it's interesting because as I was going through and reading these, I was thinking, yeah, these are unbelievable points. And the idea of what you're supposed to do with them is, this is not, something that you read and then you set aside. This is something that you are tasked with looking at every single day, multiple times per day, if you follow the instructions in it. And the reason for that is because what you're tasked with doing is essentially reading these over and over and over again until they become firmly implanted in your mind. And again, I'm not going to tell you what's in the scrolls. It can be your own secret as you go through and you discover it, because again, every person is going to see it a little bit differently. But what's in here, these are just they're universal truths. The concepts are universal. The ideas are universal. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it for you. I want it when you read it, for it to unfold for you. But as I said, I started working with it. I started using it, and yeah, I can already tell that it's having the desired impact. And part of that is because of the fact that, where we are right now, where I am right now in my journey and our journey is, again, I'm ready for this because this is going to help take me to the next point. So again, I highly recommend picking up a copy and taking a look at it yourself. Again, you may find that it doesn't really do anything for you, and that's fine. It's like I always tell people, because I recommend things like this to my students. Okay. And I always tell them up front that some of you may read it and you're going to get nothing out of it. You're going to go, why in the world did I do that? It's fine. It's fine. You're not ready for it. Others are going to read it and go, oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe I'm on the right track. Maybe I need to change my track. Maybe I need to make an adjustment here. Okay. And it's because of the potential messages they're going to get out of it. So my point is, keep reading books. Keep looking for those things that are going to help you move in your journey. All right. We got some exciting things going on. Michelle wanted me to talk about the cruise that we're going to be going. It's a cruise that you can sign up for. All the information is on our website about it's going to be one of those training, working cruises, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And so check that out. Again, you can go to our website at atiqueofyourown.com and you can check that out. I said it's a program that the cruise happens in November, but there's going to be things all along, and it's all about setting your goals, your personal goals, your financial goals, how to achieve those. Okay. And it's going to be a program that's going to go, again, starting next month, starting in January. You can jump in after that, but if you can jump in at the beginning, you're going to get the most value out of it. And so that'll be something that'll be ongoing, and then it doesn't culminate with the cruise. We have the cruise, and then there'll be follow up after that. So it's an extensive program that will really help get you on track and moving towards your goals. We've also got other things going on. Again, check us out on our website. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn. Drop us a line, info@atiqueofyourown.com. And we would love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you, particularly if you have any ideas for any presentations or anything that you'd like for us to talk about on our Facebook Lives. So that's all I've got for today. It's been a pleasure. Michelle will be back with me next week. And so the woohoo will be a little more fun. It's always a lot more fun when you have a group. The more people you have, the more fun it is. And we will see you all next week. Take care, everyone. Have a really good week.